Okay, let's look at producing a scatter diagram on our calculator. We'll always be provided with two groupings of data. We have the x values and the y values. Okay, so in this group of data, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the sample, or 5 members of the population, we're not really told. And the x coordinate is 1, the y coordinate is 4 for the first member of the sample. Okay, the x coordinate is 2, the y coordinate is 5. So the first thing you're going to do is put x and y into two separate lists. So I'm going to put x into L1 and y into L2. So opening up your calculator, you may have data already in your calculator. If you do, we can clear it out for now so we could put these data values in. Okay, so I'll press Stat, Edit. I have data in here from our last lecture, so I'm going to clear it out. Go to L2 and clear it out. Okay, so I'm going to put in the values 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. This is for x. And for L2, I'll put in 4, 5, 5, 6, 9. Now it's very important that you don't sort these values. Why? Because we want to make sure that 1 and 4 stay together as an ordered pair. We want to make sure 2 and 5 stay together as an ordered pair. Okay? Now, if we happen to have data values that are very lengthy, if we have if we have maybe 20, 30 data values for L1 and L2, and we sort them, what's happening is that we're detaching an X from a Y, possibly, and so our scatter diagram is not going to be correct. So do not sort your data when you're producing a scatter diagram. Okay, we're going to go into the stat plot settings, and we're going to make sure only one stat plot is on. So last class we did turn two of them on. Let's put only one on. So we're going to go second stat plot. Okay, we have the two box and whiskers on from last time. So let's scroll down to number 2 and turn it off. 2, enter. Slide over to off and press enter, and then go back, second stat plot. Let's go back into plot number 1. Okay, make sure it's highlighted as on. Under type, we're going to choose the one that looks like a scatter diagram, which is this first one here. So use your arrow down button to go to type, and then it starts flashing immediately on the scatter diagram picture, so hit enter on that. Okay, and now that's highlighted. As soon as you hit enter on the scatter diagram picture, two lists are available for input down here, X list and Y list. And you could enter what list your X values are in and what list your Y values are in. These are correct, L1 and L2, but you know that if you had to change these, you would just do the second button and then the list where your data is and then enter. Okay, so I'm going to go back and set that back to L1. The last item mark is completely optional for you. You can change the appearance of the dot in the scatter diagram. So I'm going to leave it on what it is by default, but you could also use a plus or a smaller dot. Okay. Okay, so X list should be the list containing the X values, and Y list should be the list containing the Y values. Okay, you want to make sure that sometimes students will have problems because there's data in y equals. So if we press y equals, if you have anything here, make sure it's gone. Scroll all the way down and make sure there's nothing there. You could press the clear button when you come over something that shouldn't be there. Okay, we're going to press Zoom 9, Zoom Stat, which is what we used when we were creating box and whisker plots. So we press Zoom 9. Okay, and there is our scatter diagram. So each of the dots represents a member of the sample. Now let us press the trace key. Okay, as soon as you're tracing, notice what happens. You start flashing on one of the dots, and at the bottom of the screen you have its x coordinate and its y coordinate. If you use your arrow right key, you jump to another dot and you'll see its x coordinate and y coordinate at the bottom of the screen. And you can do this for all the dots in the data set. Okay, it will show you the x coordinate and y coordinate, corresponding y coordinate. Okay, so here's a snapshot of what it looks like. Okay, again on our horizontal axis is labeled low to high. Vertical axis is low to high. So we have low values of x with low values of y, these dots right here, and we have high value of x corresponding to high value of y right here. So do these variables x and y have a positive, negative, or no linear correlation? You should be able to see visually, because it's going upward from left to right, low x, low y, high x, high y, that is a positive correlation. Okay. Use the sample data to construct a scatter diagram on your calculator and indicate the type of correlation, if any, exists. Okay, so let's go back to our calculator and put in these data values: 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11, 9, 8, 6, 6, 3. Okay, so if we press Stat, Edit, I don't need data values in L1 and L2 anymore, so I'll clear those out. Okay. So in L1, we'll put 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10. And in L2, 11, 9, 8, 6, 6, 3. Okay, so now it's really important not to sort these columns. Just try to remember that. If you were to sort L2, the smallest data value, which is 3, would be positioned up here, and it would be matched with a 2 in L1. Now you don't want to break up the ordered pairs, so 2 needs to be matched with 11 and 3 needs to be matched with 9, and if you do sort this, you're going to break up those pairs. Okay, so you have the data in a list. You're going to go into your stat plot settings again and just verify that they are correct. So second stat plot, make sure that plot 1 is the only one that's on, the rest are off. Also, you see a visual right here that you have a scatter diagram set for the type of graph that's going to be displayed. L1 is the x values and L2 will be where the y values come from. Okay, when you press Zoom number 9, Zoom Stat, you come up with a visual that looks like this. Okay, so I'll do it on the calculator also. We're going to press zoom 9, and there we have it. Okay, so it's moving downward from left to right. Okay, so as we examine the scatter diagram from left to right, the pattern of the points are going in a downward direction. Okay, so here's low x, low values of x, high values of y, and we have high values of x with low values of y. As the values for x increase, the values for y decrease. The scatter diagram indicates a negative correlation. Okay, so it's moving downward from left to right, and we see low x with high y and high x with low y.